This is Nathan Stanford Sr. We're going to look at installing ColdFusion. I know I just did a video on that, but we're going to look at installing it a second way. We're going to use CommandBox. So what you want to do to be able to use CommandBox to install ColdFusion, it does other things, but let's just focus on the one thing for now. So if you do a search for CommandBox and download, it should bring you to here. And this, as you see it scrolled down, let's scroll back up. This is part of Oris Solutions, and they help with a lot of different things in ColdFusion. And this is kind of like if you're doing Node and you have a CLI, or Vue.js and you have a CLI to help you do things, this CommandBox helps you. And if you don't understand the command line interface is CLI, and if you don't understand what all Node or Vue or any of the other ones do, you will learn some of it here today. So let's scroll down to the download, and you have multiple choices. You can do it without the JRE, or you can do it with the JRE included, or you can do the Windows installer. I've downloaded this one and this one because you can unzip this one. So if you're in a location you can't install something, you could definitely pull this down and unzip it and run it from the unzip folder. You might want to, if you can, put in the path to that folder. So for right now, I'm going to click that. It's going to pop up. It's going to start downloading, and then you'll see that when it comes up, I have this exe here, right here, CommandBox installer. Here's the other one I told you I've downloaded as well. So if you double click on this CommandBox installer, once it pops up, I'll bring it over here, went over there. So now you can read what this says, set up the wizard, just go next, read this thing about CommandBox, the README file kind of explaining some of it. Go next. Here you need to read the copyright information, all the license and all of that. If you want to go forward, you need to accept and say next. Then you get to choose the different choices. I obviously want the C drive. I like that. I'm not sure. Let's look at custom. Custom, you got standard. Let me get my glasses on. It looks like the only thing that's not included is the global installation, which I'll go ahead and add and say, go ahead, install it. And yes, please install. And now it's installing. Shouldn't take a very long time. Let it finish. And then once that's done, it's going to pop up a window, and it's going to be setting up some other settings. So I'll pause until it comes back. Okay, so now it's back. So we can hit finish. And now that we've hit finish, we can go to our here, hold on. I created a cheat sheet for what I'm going to be doing. So I will have this URL as well as CommandBox URL in the description of this video. So once you want, you can go look at that. I actually have started to try to put some cheat sheets in here as I think of them. This one here is what we're going to work on. This is what you can do to spin up a ColdFusion instance. This first one we're going to do, you can change it from ColdFusion to Lucy or to Raylo. But this first one is going to be Adobe. And let's start here, for example. If you want to use MySQL, you need to have a place that you can put your drivers. So I'm going to find a copy of you can actually search the web and find the drivers for a MySQL driver and download it. And if you get the one that's for any that has the zip file that's for any different type of installation, doesn't matter which kind of a computer you're using, you can open it and find this driver inside. But let's go find a copy of it. If you have trouble with that, please let me know, and I'll try to do a search again and show you the place that I found mine. But let me go get a copy. In fact, let's do this. Let's get out of the downloads and we'll go to the C drive. And we'll say new folder. We want drivers. Now you can name it whatever you want. I just thought if I happen to have any other drivers I need to put in there, I will have it there available so that I can do that. So I'm going to go get that driver that I was showing you, the connector, and I'm going to copy it here. So we have a copy right here in this drivers folder, which matches the instructions that I'm giving right here. So now we have that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a folder, and for this one I'm just going to create example, nothing fancy, but we're going to do it in the command prompt. So I'm opening up my Windows command prompt and I'm bringing it, trying to bring it, let's see here, there it goes, bringing it over here. Let's shrink it down so we can see our instructions. So what I want to do is I want to go to the root of C, so change directory / which brings you to the root of C, make directory example. Obviously you want to make sure you don't have a directory named example. I knew I didn't. If you do, you want to pick a different directory name. So what we would really need to do now is move into example, and I usually use ColdFusion installed the previous way, so if there's any of these steps that doesn't work, you need to let me know so I can try to figure out what went wrong and how to help you. So we'll change directory into example. Whoops, kind of need to spell it right. So then what we want to do while we're in this web root, we want to install CommandBox cfconfig. Whoops, I forgot. First thing we want to do before that, and I'm glad I made the mistake because I'm going to fix it right now. I'm going to say edit. After you create the directory, cd example. So you want to go into the directory, and then you want to run box. That's what CommandBox name of the executable is. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this. So it's going to say commit changes and update run box after changing directory. So we'll go ahead and commit this change. Okay, so now we have this instructions. Okay, it didn't do what I wanted. I wanted that to be on the next line. Edit. Let's do this then. I want these 3 lines to be very obvious. You know what? I will leave that like that. Let's commit. And I'm going to call it minor update. And hit save. Okay, so I have these 3 steps. So okay, we're going to change directory after we make the example directory that we're trying to do. And then we're going to see if we can get Box to run, which it should run. This is just an example on my other laptop that I'm trying to show you so you can see the finished work, and I will have to figure out why the desktop is having such trouble. It could be I have too much stuff installed, but it had lots of space. So finally, when CommandBox pops up, you see this. Then we go into the steps that we're going to do, and we're going to follow the cheat sheet. We're going to first install the CommandBox config. So we do the CommandBox -cfconfig, which since it was already there, it ran pretty quickly. And then we're going to do the start, server start, port 8080. You can pick any port or let it randomly pick a port, and you can pick which engine. This particular engine, we're using CF Adobe, so we do CF engine equals Adobe. And that will get the latest version of Adobe. That runs, downloads, installs, it's ready to go. And now we're back to the list of things we're working on. So now we're going to do cfconfig, import from CF ColdFusion config data sources to the server. So we're doing that, and it opens up the server. We go back, we finish typing in, we're changing the password, So now once we get the password changed, it's going to allow us to be able to log into the admin. And we have to go back here, and we're in the example folder. So we're setting it. So it says it's set, so it worked. And then we need to stop the server so that we can get that password to be used. Then we got to start the server. So now the server should work. So it will pop up. I'm being impatient. I'm thinking I'm going to go to it, but it's now popping up. So it popped up. And then what happens from here is you can actually go to cfadmin, go to the cfide/administrator/index, and it takes you into the application, the administrative side. And we installed the password just recently, as you saw, so that we know what password we're going to use for the cfadmin. That's what that password's for. So we go in here, it comes up, there's your Adobe 2023 installed and ready to go. You can type in your password, and once you type your password in, you'll get in and be able to add a database, a data source. You'll be able to make changes. So everything is set up and ready to go. If you have any troubles like I did, let me know and I'll try to help you, or we can get other people to help you. Maybe join Slack and be part of the ColdFusion team so that you can ask questions and get answers from everybody else as well. So here we are. We go in. We're going to actually include that database. We've got that driver, and we've pointed to it. So now it should work. And I didn't use a password for the MySQL database, so there's no password. And it worked. As you can see, it says successful. And as you scroll down, you can see it says OK. So everything is working as planned. Thank you. Have a good time coding.